around him. We challenged the team in every position group and on special teams to kind of rally around him and raise their level of play, knowing that he was a rookie and it was his first start. And I thought we started fast. We had some energy about it early. So compliment to the players.
The Gators will next host Texas A&M this Saturday. It's 80 degrees at 12 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
It was supposed to be Victory Monday. It was supposed to be our first Victory Monday on Helmets and Heels since football season began. And there was a collapse in the second half, and that does sound a lot like the 2023 season, but this one felt different.
Microcosm.
This one felt like the Jaguars were announcing themselves to the AFC as we are going to take what we want, and this defense is going to cause all sorts of fits. Ryan Nielsen's defense with all those guys running in the rotation against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa. This defense is for real, and the offense is too. And Brian Thomas Jr., this is his coming out party. And Tank Bigsby, for all the people that didn't like him last year, it was supposed to be a Victory Monday. And instead, and Mia, you were there, the moment ETN fumbles and then Hill gets that 80-yard touchdown, everything changed.
Honestly, the way you described it, Lauren, it truly does sound like the 2023 season in which the Jaguars were supposed to have arrived. And this was a let's put the league on notice. And then that was my attempt at a fart noise on air without actually using my elbow to do that. But we're on video, so we could. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened.
But the defense was the reason I feel like the Jags lost so many games at the end of last year.
You're not wrong.
I didn't think the defense was the reason the Jags lost yesterday.
And that's where...
I almost felt bad for the defense towards
too.
the end because it felt like, I mean, and you just pointed out, obviously, after the ETN thing, but everything went bad after that. I mean, from block the line, which felt like it was looking pretty well for the first half of the game. They couldn't block. All of a sudden, you're running. 8 of the 9 plays was running. It felt like everything became predictable. Everything just completely went off base once that happened. And those are the type of moments that you want to see your team rally. Like, if you're a good team, that moment doesn't shake you. You keep going. You've been leading the entire game. You keep going with that. And so to see them crumble that way, honestly, it's a little disheartening the way that it happened.
And look, I know that there are already, because I can see it on the text line, Design by Lifetime Enclosures, in my Twitter replies, on the MyBookie Digital Studio chat line, there are those of you who have been waiting for 12 o'clock to strike so that you could hear us and lament and bash Doug and bash Press Taylor and who was the play caller. I'm actually going to take Doug's side as we begin this discussion and this conversation in what Doug said at the end of the 2023 season, that this comes down to execution. Yes, you can certainly question going for it on 4th and 1 deep in your own territory.
Yeah, don't do that.
But at the same time,
don't do it.
But at the same time, especially with Logan Cook punting the way he was, shout out to Logan.
Both punters I thought were really good.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know Miami's punter was that good. I'm like, damn, no wonder Logan's like having a hard time trying to make a Pro Bowl team because this guy's in the AFC too. I was like,
Jake
dang.
Bailey was impressive.
Who would have thought? But when I reflected on what I saw before my eyes in Miami, when I looked statistically at the game that was. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it back on video yet just because I got back late last night from Miami. But the fumble is the obvious. That's careless disregard for the football, to quote Tom Coughlin. And it was a great play by Javon Holland. I want that to be out there. That was a great defensive play. So we give a half mark perhaps to Travis Etienne. This was the stat, and I don't feel bad saying it because I spoke with both of these two gentlemen in the locker room after, and they owned up to it. Let's go through catches and targets for the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver threats and pass catchers. Words are hard as I'm trying to pull something up on my phone. Brian Thomas Jr., How many? Here we go. Let's pull it up. There it is. Brian Thomas Jr. 4 targets, 4 catches. Gabe Davis.
How many in the second half?
0. 0. That's a problem. We will get to that in a
Was
second.
he targeted in the second
No,
half?
he was not. We'll get to that in a
That's
second.
a massive
Because again, 4 targets, 4 catches. Gabe Davis, 3 targets, 3 catches. Travis Etienne, 3 targets, 2 catches. Okay. Parker
Yeah, the
Washington.
one was a little.
Yeah, a little bit of wobble. It was a throwaway by Trevor. Parker Washington, 1 target, 1 catch. Evan Ingram, 4 targets, 1 catch for 5 yards. Christian Kirk, 4 targets, 1 catch for 30 yards. Now,
Massive drops.
certainly you can look at that and you can say they needed to throw the ball more. If this is truly a pass-first offense, if you truly believe in the man under center who you paid $275 million to, who I'm seeing the clip circulated from Mike Renner on X right now of the incredible throw that Trevor Lawrence made to Brian Thomas Jr. in the corner of the end zone that only a handful of human beings who walk planet Earth can make.
Because where BTJ is when Trevor releases the ball, that's
Yes.
the most impressive
Yeah.
part. Not just the physical ability to make the throw, but to have the recognition and chemistry with that rookie receiver.
And I don't want to put this loss on the trio that has arguably been the most reliable on the Jaguars' offensive side of the ball of the past 2 seasons. But when you look at where this game went awry, you can't help but say, if Christian Kirk doesn't lose that ball in the sun, if, yes, Trevor Lawrence maybe puts it a little bit closer to him on that 3rd down, the one passing attempt, by the way.
Or if you're going to throw high to Gabe Davis or BTJ or Evan Ingram, who can go up and get it, not Kirk.
But that is where I do look at this, and there were miscues. And the problem is, to your point, Lauren, it was not a rookie Tank Bigsby like last year.
Yeah.
It was not a rookie Parker Washington like last year. They held up their end of the bargain. What was so concerning to me is in terms of sheer execution, because I don't think Doug is far off when I believe when he goes to the microphone any second now. Actually, it'll be in about in about an hour or so. We'll still be on the air. But when Doug takes the podium at 1:45 at the Miller Electric Center, I can almost guarantee you he's going to say execution. And I can't say that he will be wrong in saying that. Yes, there's a variety of factors, but I just can't help but get away from this idea of your most reliable players over the last 2 years having very crucial miscues in the heat of the moment yesterday.
Cam Robinson, I would add to that group of players.
Josh
that had miscues
Allen
too.
had a PI that was, or a roughing the passer, which was a little questionable, especially then when Roy Robertson Harris had the other one. There was a little bit of a makeup call
But
later.
in today's NFL, Josh Hines Allen has to know once Tua release the ball, you can't hit them. You have to sidestep them one way or the other.
And to your point, Mia and Lauren, it was the guys that you're paying money to that were making the mistakes down the stretch those are the ones you should be relying on to kind of turn things around when it comes to Josh Hines Allen, when it comes to Cam Robinson, when it comes to Christian Kirk, when it comes to Evan Ingram. These are the guys that you've paid to be these playmakers. These are the guys that have been with Trevor Lawrence now, not the new ones to the team, not the new guys to the team, not the rookies. It's guys that have now been with Trevor for at least a year that should be making these plays and making things look like it was more efficient than what it was. And again, it's something we talked about this whole offseason. They were 2 for 10 on 3rd downs. Those type of things have to stop. It's so frustrating to watch that when they get to 3rd down, you're pretty much like, oh, okay, give them the ball. It's Miami's ball now because they can't convert a 3rd down to save their lives. And it was last year too.
And I think the most frustrating part for me, outside of the fumble, is the fact that you still had plenty of time to win the football game. And instead of being able to, when you get the ball back with 4:22, and of course we're all thinking just a methodical drive, take a ton of time off the clock, and then Cam Little,
Especially when you've already gone.
Don't do that. I want them to take more time off the clock.
Especially when you've already gone 96 yards earlier in the game.
Yards before the fumble. Right. You are able to do this. You know you can. But I thought that at that point in time, that's when the offense regressed to last season. And the offensive line did not play very well. Mitch Morse, I thought, had a great game.
Honestly,
had some issues.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. As I left the press box, I caught up with D-Rock a little bit, and I looked at him and I said, okay, what was the big takeaway? And he said, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with the interior 3.
Yeah.
I thought they held up their end of the bargain. He said, and I agree with him when he said this, I did not see Anton Harrison giving up 4 pressures. Did not have that in the cards. did not see that after the camp that he had. And I don't know personally if it was Calais spooked him on that first play of the game.
Yeah.
We
in his head a little bit
Feel
for the
free
rest
to
of the
block
time.
Calais.
We haven't heard
any.
We haven't heard anything of if I don't believe there was any sort of injury. And so I don't know what happened there.
That's the ironic part is last year he played through it. He and supposedly very healthy, 100% healthy. And other than he had the concussion during training camp. And then now 100% healthy and now he doesn't play as well. Yeah. I don't think there's any explanation for how the interior of the offensive line in crucial moments played better than the two guys on the outside. That, like you said, none of us saw that coming. And as far as Trevor Lawrence goes, they have to be able to protect him in that 4-minute offense so that you have at least a chance. You cannot allow him to get sacked 2 times in a row in that situation. That loses the football game. Again, I understand how critical the fumble was. And of course, Parker Washington had he not been able to recover that fumble, that would have been another massive turn of events. But you have a chance to win the ball game.
Yeah.
Put the ball in Trevor's hands. Protect Trevor.
If you paid him,
win.
you have to. Especially, hey, let's take a couple. Let's also look at this a little bit positive. I know.
Oh, sure, we can do
I
that.
know it's difficult, and again, we're gonna play some of our locker room sound that I collected yesterday after the game, and really great conversation with Foye. We'll get to that a little bit later in the program, and he said he's like, at the end of the day, we lost, so I can't say there's any positives, but there were glimpses and moments of positive, and that's what makes this so frustrating. And nothing was more positive on that field than watching BTJ literally torch, burnt toast Jalen Ramsey and trash talk him. A guy who we couldn't get Brian Thomas Jr. to talk 6 months ago, and now he's
Just
out here
put Jalen in his ear.
trash talking Jalen. And to your point, Taylor, who was not targeted the entire second half.
Yeah. And
that's the part that I will put on the coaching staff, and that is malpractice.
I do
Is
want to
Jalen
say
Ramsey still good, by the way, or is he just hampered by the injury?
I think he's been good.
Well, I was honestly a little upset.
It's a
Lauren.
hamstring, right?
It's a hammy.
hamstring, yeah.
I was a little upset. I was really, really hoping when I got the Miami locker room post-game transcript, I was so hoping there would be some quotes from Jalen about we're God's team. Tyreek, he was shackled this morning. We have broken through our shackles. The Lord was looking out for us because I was fully expecting, because they won, Jalen would start evoking the Lord. But they didn't have any Jalen quotes. I was sad.
That's disappointing because BTJ just made him look like he doesn't even belong in the league anymore. And if that's a hamstring injury, maybe. Otherwise, Brian Thomas Jr. is a star already.
I do want to say another positive, too, is Trayvon Walker. I feel like it's been so fun to watch the trajectory.
The evolution.
The evolution of what Trayvon was, and from the beginning to now, and he's just like a force now. Every single play, you're seeing him in the mix every single snap, and it's so fun to watch that. And for all of the people that are always like, Aiden Hutchinson, I truly believe, and I said this earlier in the offseason, by the end of the season, that conversation, I think, is going to be done.
Yeah, so far, my bold prediction of Trayvon will have more sacks than Josh Hines-Allen. So far, we'll see. It's very early. I do want to make a point defensively. Mason Smith got in there, Yasir Abdullah, Ventrell Miller, Miles Cole. A lot of the rookies, obviously, Jarian Jones played a big part of it. That is also great to see as far as optimistically moving forward, because you are going to have a Tyson Campbell who has the hamstring injury now. Like Mia said, we'll hear from Doug later this afternoon and see the severity of that. I would guess, knowing soft tissue injuries, he's going to miss a few weeks.
Yep.
And let's just hope it's not something that lingers throughout the later part of the season. But you've got to have that many guys in the mix. And so I thought that was great and most of them made big plays at some point in time too.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping a tally. Stats and info back at my house, a.k.a. Kevin was. And he said he counted the only players on the only player, I should say, on defense who didn't have a snap on defense, and we'll get the official snap count here, and we'll be able to verify this. But it looked like Trey Prince was the only player who just played special teams, didn't get a snap on defense, and then on offense, Dearness Johnson was the only player who didn't get a snap on offense, but obviously played all core 4 special teams. And so, look, it was hot down there in Miami, no question about it, and it's not an excuse. But that is where, to your point, Lauren, you have A, be in shape, but B, you have to shift or have subs come on in hockey shifts just to keep guys fresh to make it through the course of 60 minutes.
And that's the thing. They didn't play a 60-minute football game. The Jaguars didn't. The Dolphins did. In the first half, they were saying how, the broadcasters were saying how, the Jaguars played a lot of their starters in training camp. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
Well, that should have carried on through the second half as well.
I've been saying it for a year. I want to see 4 quarters, and I haven't in a year.
Yeah. I know we have to take our first break, but when we come back, again, look, we are going to be critical of this performance because, to your point, Taylor, it was not 4 quarters, and that is what we've been waiting to see. Even when this team was 8-3 last year, you could make the argument that they were getting lucky, and there were a lot of question marks, but they were winning, and so therefore the vibes were high. But when we come back, I do want to, at the encouragement of the Heeligans, they're coming in droves right now. They want to throw a party for Trayvon Walker.
Yes.
And so we will
Let's
give
do it.
Trayvon his flowers, and you will hear from Trayvon on the other side.
The game where every yard counts. One player's performance stands out.
That's what you want from a leader.
Universal Roofing Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game
Touchdown, what a throw.
on 1010XL. Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
FSU men's basketball will play 10 games in the months of November and December, beginning with home games against Northern Kentucky on November 4th and Florida on November 15th, to go along with a road game at LSU and neutral site games against Rice in Houston, Temple, UMass in Connecticut, and Tulane in the Orange Bowl Classic in Sunrise, Florida. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
The kickoff to savings event is here at AgPro. Through September 30th, we're offering 0 down and 0% for 84 months on John Deere compact tractors. Get a 1025R tractor with loader for just $279.99 per month, or a 3025E tractor with loader for only $349.99 per month. Visit your local AgPro store today. Offer ends September 30th. Limited time offer. Some exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Chick-fil-A is introducing their new banana pudding milkshake that's here to enjoy for a limited time only. The seasonal treat features a Chick-fil-A ice cream dessert mixed with bananas and vanilla wafer cookie crumbles. It's perfect sweet spin on a classic. The banana pudding milkshake is here for a limited time, so stop by your local Chick-fil-A restaurant and treat yourself today.
We're back. Mia here, and winning season is back. Football is back, and MyBookie is here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions, like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. That's just the beginning, folks. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus. When you're ready to get started, just use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Not to mention, loyalty pays off with MyBookie Plus. The more you play, the more you win. Climb through tiers of loyalty rewards programs to unlock even more epic promotions. Only with MyBookie.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance painting.
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging, including total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Big Sirs here. Join me, Hacker, and Coach Campbell Sunday for the Winter World of Northeast Florida's fifth quarter live from Island Girl Cigar Gate Parkway. Enjoy all-day happy hour and my cigars. It's the fifth quarter Sunday, live at Island Girl Cigars Gate Parkway.
Joe C. for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. And if your dream is to create that space where you're living large in your backyard, then you need to get with the good people at CSS. They put a gas log in our fireplace, an awesome fire pit out back where the kids can toast s'mores and we can just hang out and watch the game. It's all part of your outdoor living experience with CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
You dream it, we build it. CSS.
Make the move to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, and you won't hear your employees complain about the copier anymore. Instead, you'll hear this. Advanced Business Solutions, your local Xerox dealer.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Dolphins 20, Jaguars 17. I know. It hurts. Apparently, we already had somebody turn us off because I suggested the reason for the loss was execution. And how dare you blame the players? How dare you blame the players, Mia?
Everyone's to blame. The coaching staff is to blame and the players are to blame.
It's a loss.
It's a loss that you should have won. That's the thing. It's not like the Dolphins, a lot of people thought, the Dolphins in this high-powered offense, the Jaguars are just going to have to keep up. They're going to have to score in the high 20s or the low 30s in order to just keep up. That's not at all what happened.
Yeah.
Your defense held them to 17 going into that final field goal.
One person who did, in my opinion, emerge victorious yesterday in teal and black. RJ, if you have like victory music or feel-good music or something, we need to cue this up. It's time to give Trayvon Walker his flowers. The Heeligans, those same Heeligans who bashed the 2022 number 1 overall pick time and time again here on the Superstation. Let's read from them. Thank you, RJ. This is how PFF graded Trayvon. They're doubling down on their narrative, and it's embarrassing. Apparently, PFF has Trayvon Walker in the 40s and 50s across the board. In terms of his coverage, in terms of his tackling ability, despite 2 sacks yesterday, and being a monster in run defense. From 637, to all those haters on Trayvon, Aiden Hutchinson is not going to be as good. Mia, you have been the biggest Trayvon fan since day one. From 859.
I'm pretty sure Hayes Carlin has been the biggest
Trayvon
fan
true.
since day one. So,
I don't have the mantle for that. He does. From 859, I made a preseason bet with a friend. Trayvon will have more sacks than Josh. I am up 2-0. Let's go. Yes, in case you missed it, one Tua Tagovailoa scramble that went for 0 yards yesterday was officially changed to a sack for Trayvon Walker in the first half of yesterday's game. And so thus, Trayvon Walker 2.0 in the sack department. And
Eric Armstead had the first real sack, I'll say, of the season. Because, yes, they credited that one to Trayvon. But Eric Armstead had a fantastic sack there, too.
It's the moments, too, when he just doesn't give up on plays, and it's so fun to watch. Because the one sack where he kind of ended up, it was almost his head, like, tripped up Tua.
It was his helmet, yeah.
It wasn't his, yeah. But even those moments, those are times when, like, in other situations, guys aren't getting that sack, but Trayvon doesn't stop. Like, he keeps going until the whistle, and that's what makes him what he is. Because a lot of people criticize certain things that he does, but one thing you cannot take away from Trayvon is he plays 100% all the time. And I feel like those little moments that could have been Tua escaping and, then it's not. And instead it's a big loss for a sack. And those are the moments to me that really stand out on Trayvon. The big fun sacks are great, but those moments where you just see him playing to the end is what really turns it for me.
With 5 minutes to go in the second quarter of yesterday's game, the Jaguars had given up 1 net yard on the ground. 1. They finished the first half giving up 29, which still, what was one of the biggest points of emphasis this week was trying to stop that two-headed monster of Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane.
Mm-hmm.
They did that. And
sort of. Yes, in the run game, but Achane still had the screen play go. He still had a really good game.
Right, he had a good game. But to limit them on the ground and to attempt to make them as one-dimensional as the Jaguars did and to force Tua Tagovailoa to make questionable decisions, that is a win. That is how you give yourself a chance to beat that team.
If you do it for all 4 quarters.
Correct.
That's the problem, is when the Dolphins had 3rd and 1 late, they were able to convert both of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they finished 50% on 3rd downs, whereas the Jags were 2 of 10. And so that is certainly a conversation that can also be had throughout the duration of today's program. And of course, on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, it's 641-1010. And the MyBookie Digital Studio, which round of applause as well, RJ. We are going to be back and streaming on X very, very soon for those of you who like to watch us on Twitter. And we, of course, are always live streamed on Facebook. Let us head into the locker room and hear from Trayvon Walker himself.
I feel like the defense overall, we played pretty good. Obviously, we got to get out of pursuit a little bit more on the screens that they hit us on and things of that nature. I feel like we did one of our main focuses is stopping the run. I feel like we did that. But like you say, during this game, we had a lot of ebbs and flows. We got to try to keep it more consistent.
If you're a Jaguars defensive player, you should feel like you did everything you needed to until, like I said, the final drive. And that's when the Dolphins needed that short yardage. They needed to convert those 3rd downs, and they did. And on the flip side, obviously, the offense didn't. What you never want to have happen in a locker room is the defense and the offense are on opposite sides. Yeah. That leads to issues because the defense is constantly having to go back out on the field. Again, like you said, it was hot, Mia. They kept saying it on the broadcast, 92 degrees. And while, yes, the Jaguars training camp was hot and hard, all in the heat and everything like that, still at the end of the day, Dolphins sideline in the shade, Jags sideline in the sun. They brought the cooling benches, but at the end of the day, the defense still played, I think, really well. The offense let the team down. Pretty much in the second half when you don't score a point, that's the offense letting the team down.
Yeah, I think there are moments where there were a lot of good moments for the defense, but you also don't want to allow 2 receivers to have over 100 yards. That's never an ideal situation. You were able to stop the run for the most part. I think only 80-something yards rushing. But again, and then the running back had almost 100 yards too. So you almost had 3 wide receivers go over 100 yards. That's not ideal for your secondary. I did want to read a few numbers because, Mia, you were talking about this earlier when it came to some of the snap counts, but Demetrius Harvey had posted, Josh Hines-Allen played 82% of the defensive snaps against the Dolphins. Trayvon Walker played 73%. Eric Armstead played 44%. He had 31 snaps. Darnell Savage had 69% splitting safety and nickel. Lewican played 85%, and which he played 100% last year. So it was Foye we got to see. That was nice to kind of see him be able to rest, and you feel confident enough to do that. But Josh Hines-Allen still was on the field a lot.
Well, he's expected to be. If he is, again, let's put that right there in the same barrel as the Trevor Lawrence argument. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be paid the way that he was this offseason, if you are expected to be the alpha number 1 option on that defense, then you do need to play an ample number of snaps. Now, to your point, Taylor, I agree. This is a marathon, not a sprint of a season, and so that's where I do have concerns. But he wants to be out there. Yeah. He wants to, quote unquote, have the proverbial ball in his hands. Yeah. And that is where it's fascinating to see that paired with Trevor Lawrence having 1 pass attempt after Travis Etienne's fumble and the 14-point swing yesterday in the second half. And I also see some of you on the text line who have sent us some screenshots to the idea of my opening comment regarding Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, 1 catch apiece on 4 targets. And this idea of especially those back-to-back sacks at the end of the game, were players open? Now, again, I have not watched the game back. I'm just looking at a screenshot that one of our Hooligans sent.
You're not going to see it on watching the TV broadcast.
Okay.
You'll have to watch the All-22 to see if people were open.
Right.
Because they don't show us that.
I can't tell you if that's the case, but it's certainly a concern if guys weren't open in the second half that were open in the first half.
yeah.
I will tell you that. I don't know why that would be. I also think that in that situation, Trevor could have thrown the ball away. So there you go. I'm being critical of Trevor. And do you really want to blame Anton Harrison and Cam Robinson for the pocket collapsing on those 2 sacks, when in reality, if there were opportunities and the quarterback just didn't get the ball away, wasn't decisive enough, or he just didn't have the wherewithal in his 4th year to throw the ball away, yes, you can certainly be critical of Trevor for that.
He threw it away in the first half, towards the end of the half before the field
He had a couple
goal.
nice throwaways yesterday. I was like, good
There you
decision.
go.
Good decision. And again, into one of the other Hooligans' points, you also saw Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars team operating at peak efficiency with a minute and change, march down the field and get a field goal before the half when they knew they were getting the ball back to start the second half. And like, that's what good teams do.
Yeah.
And so again, that's where I understand the frustration of you see that and then you see the end of the game sequence.
Yeah,
and
the
you're like,
three-
how is this the same team?
The 3 and out to start the second half was, I think, really frustrating because had the Jaguars scored there, that's another nail in the coffin type feeling. And you don't leave it up then to that run and fumble by ETN.
It is a little alarming. I think it was BTJ that made the comment that the Miami defense didn't even do anything different either. So that is also concerning because it wasn't even like they came in and made some big halftime adjustments. They came out and did the exact same thing, and Jax couldn't do anything in the second half.
Now, Mike McDaniel said Tua really, he really fired them up at halftime. the quote was, I mean, it was very Mike McDaniel.
He looked like he's been in Miami his whole life now.
I don't know. If an offense scores 17 in the first half and 0 in the second half, I do give credit to the defensive coordinator and Anthony Weaver for the Dolphins. They had to have made adjustments. And yes, there were drops, but they still had to have made adjustments in order to completely
Which this is a
change
defense
it.
that I said I think could be better than what people thought they were going to be.
And that was without blitzing all that much.
And that was with a banged up banged up Jalen and a long list of 15 different injuries that they were coming into that game with.
Yeah, both Jalen, because Jalen Phillips was supposedly on a pitch count, but he had a really good game.
So here's the quote with regards to Tua and him hyping them up pregame. It was a cool moment because it was genuine and it was not anything but constructive. There was details that led to execution in terms of how we are organized and communicate with who's in the huddle, how those players go from the huddle to the line of scrimmage, executing the nuances of our job. At the time, he definitely felt there were guys that were loose there. I couldn't deny that at all. I was pumped to hear Tua constructively lead. It wasn't let's win or let's make plays. It was let us adhere to our standard, which is what a captain and a franchise quarterback have to be, that voice to echo.
One other thing I noticed.
So the only halftime adjustment apparently on offense for the Dolphins
Tua's
was that, hey, you're not supposed to be in the huddle and you are supposed to be in the huddle. That's all they did.
One other thing I did notice when watching the broadcast is Eric Armstead went up to Travis Etienne after the fumble. And so I thought, well, maybe this is the veteran leadership that the Jaguars didn't have last year that they need in order to win this football game. But alas, it was just words because now they didn't end up winning. All right, we will continue the Jaguars-Dolphins conversation, also go around the NFL. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. If you need any sort of automotive services, visit them at BigChiefTire.com. There's a reason they have won the Community Choice Awards as the best tire shop in Jacksonville for 5 years in a row. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the 4th annual Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 4th through 6th at Timuquana Country Club. Get your tickets now starting at just $25 for grounds passes. Public parking is free, and our military get complimentary tournament access courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster, October 4th through 6th at Timuquana Country Club. The 4th annual Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K.
Now at Hodges Mazda, get ready for an incredible offer and drive home the 2024 Mazda CX-5 with 0% APR for 36 months. Lauren Brooks here. The Mazda CX-5 combines sleek design, advanced technology, and a responsive drive, making it the ideal SUV for your everyday adventures. Discover the Hodges Mazda difference with our non-commissioned sales team who are always focused on your best interest first, Plus, you get 2 years of free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com. See dealer for details. Terms and fees for qualified applicants. Expire September 30th, 2024.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
This summer, beat the heat at Best Bet, your premier poker destination. Whether you're a seasoned poker pro or a first-time card player, you'll find a cool retreat from the summer heat with thrilling poker games, big payouts, and refreshing drinks. Join us for an unforgettable experience. Cool off and cash in at Best Bet. The stakes are high, the cards are hot, and your chance for fun is guaranteed. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Post-Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World. Simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 9, 2021, quarterback Tom Brady becomes the first player in NFL history to start 300 regular season games, as he guided the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to an opening day game win.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool? Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny? That's right, Steve.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions, repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity, making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
What's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Dan Hicken this morning on The Drill on the performance of Trevor Lawrence against the Dolphins.
Two things about Trevor. One, not good enough again. Mundane, pedestrian, average, 12 of 21, 161, whoop-de-freaking-do. You're in the club now. You got to take them down and get us a field goal. More importantly, go in there today, say, what are we doing? You guys pay me all this money. You got to let me throw. 21 pass attempts in a game? Come on, man. What are we doing? Why are we paying him $50 million a year?
Dan Hicken this morning on The Drill. Watch the full episode on our 1010XL YouTube channel. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale Lighting, Fans, and Home Decor on 1010XL.
We're here for you this Monday as the Jaguars lost to the Dolphins 20-17 yesterday. Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, so overreaction Monday in the NFL always happens after week one, and we still have one game to go tonight. But for the people that say same old Jags, what do you say to them? Same old Jags, that's why the Jags lost, same old Jags.
Sure looked like at the end of the game yesterday. Yeah. Look, you are judged on dubs.
Yeah.
And until you can put, as Taylor said, 4 quarters together, and especially when that game mirrored the 2023 season, a microcosm of it at the very least. Yeah, no, you are absolutely in the right to say same old Jags until proven otherwise.
The amount of people that texted me and was like, the Jags just find new ways to lose. And that's what's frustrating to people is it's not like if they battle, you felt like they battled to the end and they leave and, Miami squeaks by, I think that the narrative would be a little different. But the way that it collapsed and the way that the offense just completely died in the second half, people are going to say that until you prove that you can do it for 4 quarters and on all cylinders for the whole game.
Here's what I'll say in the optimistic department. The Jaguars could have been up 24-7 on the Dolphins. We would not say anything negative about play calling. We would not say anything other than, wow, this defense held the Dolphins to, at that point in time, 7 points. We would have had to see what would have happened after that. You can't guarantee a victory, but sure would have felt like the Jaguars were not going to let the Dolphins come back if the score had been 24-7. And maybe Doug would have gone for 2. Maybe it would have been 25-7. We never know in those circumstances. But to me, it's not the same old Jags in the sense that they were this close, and I understand they didn't win the game, but they were this close to destroying pretty much a team that roundly is considered to be one of the best offenses in the league and a team that certainly people expect to make the playoffs.
And that's where, again, I don't want to tell you that I'm looking at this through teal-colored glasses, but unfortunately, I am a natural optimist, or at least I'm trying to do more of that. This is what working in sports media for a decade does to you folks. You got to find the good, because if you don't, this thing will suck you up and throw you out. So anyways, with that said, that is where I look at this Dolphins team, Lauren and Taylor, and I say they are probably a playoff team. If nothing else, they're a playoff contender. They were the number 1 rated offense a year ago in the National Football League. And as a couple Heeligans noted, they also were the number 9 defense. I understand they were without Bradley Chubb. They certainly got an impact from Calais Campbell, their offseason addition. Jalen Phillips, coming off of a torn Achilles, did look healthy.
Why didn't the Jaguars sign Calais again?
Well, they got Eric Armstead. He did have a sack yesterday. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So anyways, point is that, look, and the point is that you lost to a playoff team. So it's not like you were the Bengals as we get ready to go around the National Football League, and you lost to a team that so many think is going to be picking number 1 overall, the New England Patriots, at home yesterday. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you now face 3 teams that made the postseason from a year ago in the next 3 weeks. And so that is where you have an opportunity to flip that narrative of same old Jags on its head once and for all.
I think a lot of people, though, are looking at it and it's like, you are also supposed to be a playoff team, and scoring 17 points in week 1 on an offense. You just drafted a wide receiver first overall. You just paid Gabe Davis in the first round, sorry. And then you paid Gabe Davis. Christian Kirk's supposed to be your dude. You have Evan Ingram, who's talked about as being one of the best tight ends in the league. You got Mitch Morse, so this line you could be able to run. People expect you to score more than 17 points if you're putting all of that into, oh, and by the way, you just paid your quarterback a lot of money. So I get the frustration because you want to see more than 17 points out of an offense that people feel like they put a lot of money and draft picks into, and it fell flat. And so there's going to be frustration there.
Overreaction Monday. These 4 teams feel like they have the worst quarterbacks in all of the National Football League. The Falcons, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Giants. All 4 fan bases would tell you their quarterback is terrible. Now, the Panthers, theirs is really bad, and the Giants, theirs is really bad. I'm hoping that the Browns and Deshaun Watson is really bad.
Taylor and I did listen to a little bit of Cleveland sports radio this morning.
They're yelling.
I think we got to send it to RJ. We may have to actually have RJ pull it up because it was, I know that
they're calling for Baker. Why did we get rid of Baker? That's their radio right now.
Yeah.
There's those of you that
Baker led the Bucs to a nice win.
Right. There's those of you that wanted to call in and be fire and fury on this program or on any of our programming here on the Superstation. Trust me, pales in comparison to the conversations in Cleveland this morning.
Yeah, they overpaid a quarterback and certainly gave him way too much guaranteed money in the fact that they gave him 100% guaranteed money and $231 million. But they overpaid a quarterback that was coming off of some time not playing football. And he's never going to regain it back. You can stop wishing for that. So now they're going to have Deshaun Watson play, I would think, most of the season because they are paying him. They're not going to go to Jameis Winston despite the fans wanting that. And then elsewhere, the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, there's a lot of people saying that, look, that's why they drafted Michael Penix Jr. Well, then why did you sign Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, and Sam Darnold looked good. They're
Which
probably like, oh, no.
As first predicted on this program,
that.
because I have continued to say that Kevin O'Connell, as the next great disciple of the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan tree, is going to find a way to scheme Sam Darnold into 7 or 8 wins, especially against a Giants team that, despite its defensive acquisitions this offseason, is still going to be as dysfunctional as any. We saw it with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2010s. You can have an elite defense, but it's not sustainable if you also don't have the quarterback on the other side. And that's what the Giants are dealing with right now.
How did they pay him? That's what I don't understand. He has more pick sixes than touchdowns in the last handful of games.
I would be so frustrated. And
he hasn't been available. Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is the biggest ability is availability, and he hasn't even been available either because he has been banged up throughout the course of his career, and that included almost all of last year. And so, So again, our question is of those 4. So Browns, Falcons,
Panthers, Falcons, Giants.
I didn't watch enough of the Panthers-Saints game to truly know if this was just a case of the Panthers are a bad team. I know Bryce Young threw a pick on his first pass.
They're not a very
good. The Saints are not that good, and they won 47-10.
And they were up 30-0 at one point.
So the Panthers are atrocious.
Which Bryce Young didn't give up all those points. The pick 6, yes, but he didn't give up all of those points. And so that says to me...
Nobody completely missed Adam Thielen, too. I mean, he's not good.
Yeah, well, he can't see because he's shorter than me. So, and I loved him. Look, we were talking about it this morning. Like, I stumped for Bryce Young.
But you probably wouldn't have traded what the Panthers did with the Bears.
No, I wouldn't have done that, but also I'm not David Tepper, who's just, living in a fantasy land, and I thought he was going to sell the team at halftime yesterday. The problem
Panthers did he throw more drinks on it?
The problem with Bryce Young, and the reason I have optimism, is because I see what Kyler Murray does yesterday, finally healthy against the Buffalo Bills, even if it was in a loss, and that was without Marvin Harrison Jr. fully reaching his potential because it was his first game in the National Football League. I didn't expect anything from him. One catch, a little bit surprising.
The Cardinals have to feel, by the way, the same way that the Jags do.
Correct.
In that you were leading a lot of that football game, and then the Bills just...
And you went into a very hostile environment. Correct. But the point is that Kyler Murray, when healthy, has found success in the National Football League. He obviously is a bit thicker than Bryce Young. But at the same time, you could make the argument that both players were elite at the college level, and that was despite their shortcomings in the measurable department. And I have no greater joy when I look back on Alabama college football over the last however many years. That game against Tennessee, which I know ended in a loss and a field storming at Neyland. Shout out to the Vols out there, the Vol fans in Healigan Nation. But that game and how close it was dictated by Bryce Young being a wizard. Like, And that was despite not being able to see over his offensive line. That was despite these massive human beings on the other side of the ball coming full throttle right at him. And I just looked at that sample size and I said, look, he's finding ways to succeed despite how short he is and how frail he is. And just didn't put enough stock into what that would mean when you translate to the big leagues.
It's Alabama magic.
Yeah.
A lot of quarterbacks at Alabama have found success and then not translated to the NFL. And so that's why people are, I think, afraid at times to draft them. And then, of course, there's the curious study of Jalen Hurts, who played at Alabama and then transferred out.
I also think, the Panthers all around, they just don't have much either.
Right,
Like,
and that's
the line's
where I
really
want
bad.
to
He got
believe.
sacked 4 times. They couldn't run the ball. The receivers, Adam Thielen was good 7 years ago.
Right.
They have Mingo has been talked about. Xavier Legette, obviously, we've talked about a ton there. Maybe it will take a little time for him to really start clicking. But it's not like they have these major superstars on the offense and he can't stay upright because the line, he's getting pressure the second the ball's in his hand. So,
which that's sad because they invested
in the line. I know, and it is because this offseason that was a focal point for them, and he still got sacked 4 times. So that has to be something that they're looking at. Okay, how do we fix this? Because he is so small, you want to be able to give him time to throw, and he just doesn't have that.
And I love to see that Deshaun Watson was sacked 6 times, so that should play into the hands of Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker, and Josh Hines-Allen for this coming Sunday. We'll talk a lot about that game, obviously, throughout the week. You mentioned the Bengals, Mia, losing to the Patriots. Do you know who the Bengals play this Sunday? At the Chiefs.
Oh, boy.
So the Bengals could go 0-2 and then be in that category of a very small percentage of teams go 0-2 and still make the playoffs.
I don't want to speak this into reality because I know it will upset Taylor Dahl deep in her soul. But didn't Joe Burrow evoke the 0-2 relax Aaron Rodgers each of the past 2 seasons? He certainly did 2 years ago when they went back to the AFC Championship game and they started 0-2 that year. Yeah. And he just said, relax, we're good. Hell, we can go back to 2021, the year they went to the Super Bowl. They were facing a must-win against the Urban Meyer-led Jacksonville Jaguars. Otherwise, they would have been 0-4, correct me if I'm wrong, or 1-3.
That's what I was about to say. I remember this. It was a
loser leaves town game. Yeah. And that spurred them to a Super Bowl
Except
run.
one loser didn't leave town.
well said, Lauren. Well said. But the point is, he went down the road to Columbus. That's not entirely false.
Staying in the state.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is that Joe Burrow has this, belief, and it's akin to the belief in this town with this team back in December of, well, whatever, the spark is going to arrive. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. We're going to peak at the right time. So I'm not so sure they're panicking in Cincinnati.
I don't think
which I honestly think is a bad thing because you certainly were limited by a Patriots defense that, despite its shortcomings and picking 3rd overall, was a top 10 outfit last year and is expected to be another top 10 defense this year.
Yeah.
But Jacoby Brissett out here beating your defense, which, Lou Anarumo
they should be panicking because they don't have Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Well, they do, but...
Kind of.
He sat out.
They didn't have T. Higgins. They didn't have T. Higgins.
To go back to that 2022 season, so when they started 0-2, they lost week 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime. Joe Burrow had 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions that game. And that was against a Pittsburgh team who had 5 different quarterbacks they were trying to figure out at that time. So it seems like a little bit of the history with the Bengals. Maybe it takes them a little bit of time to get going. I don't know what it is with Joe Burrow in week 1. It just doesn't pan out for him very well. So that's why they're probably not panicking. But I think they will start panicking when they're looking at both receivers potentially not playing or not wanting to give their all because you won't pay them.
Exactly. All right. When it comes to Jamar Chase had 62 yards. That's fine. It's better than a lot of teams. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel like he's fully committed until, like you said, he gets paid. Yeah. And speaking of getting paid, yesterday morning, Dak Prescott got his new deal, 4 years, $240 million, making him the highest paid quarterback in the league at $60 million per year and $231 million guaranteed, which that part stood out to me because, like I said, that's the amount that Deshaun was guaranteed. And I have a feeling that Dak said, I won't take any less than that because everybody, of course, has to outdo one another. Look, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys destroyed the Browns yesterday. The Cowboys always look good in the regular season. It's obviously going to be a question of what can the Cowboys do, and is Mike McCarthy's job on the line if they don't win a game in the postseason?
Yeah, and I do see some hooligans, and I didn't see this, so my apologies and our condolences that Deshaun Watson did lose his father over the weekend.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, apparently he did. He announced it 2 days ago, right before the opener. So our apologies there and our condolences and understanding that, he obviously probably was dealing with a lot else. The teammate that he lost at Clemson was also a teammate of Trevor and Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, that is, and Travis Etienne.
There's a lot of death over the weekend.
Yeah, and so, look, I mean, it sucks, but also what really sucks is that is also the same Deshaun Watson that we saw last year.
Yeah, that's what.
Like, that's, yes, the situation I'm sure was weighing on him, but it's not like it was a step back from mediocre. He already looked awful in a Browns uniform in limited action last year.
Yeah.
And that was after then having X amount of weeks and months to rehab his various injuries that he suffered in the, 6 or 7 games he actually played last year.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. The Browns fans have to be staring at this in frustration because it's just we talk about the money, but it was supposed to be this guy that when he played in Houston was one of the better quarterbacks in the league at that time, and so it just looks like he kind of forgot how to play football. And maybe it's a lot of rust, but to me, it just looks like it's lingering too long for it to be a fluke at this point.
Yeah, and to the idea of they couldn't run the ball, well, they were behind early. I mean, you're down 20-3 at halftime. So yes, that's certainly a reason that they abandoned the run, which unfortunately doesn't play into their wheelhouse. And as the week goes on, I'm sure we'll dive into the matchup between the Jags and the Browns because I do think it is essential for them to have a run game, and they are without Nick Chubb. But Deshaun Watson throwing 2 picks doesn't help not only the Browns' case, but also his cause moving forward in a Browns uniform.
We'll keep the football conversation going, get it to college football, and talk more Jaguars on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Even the best teams can lose steam when their best players end up on the sidelines.
In case you haven't noticed, our receiver corps is decimated.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville. It's part of the game, though,
On 1010XL.
Winning season is back, football is back, and MyBookie is here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget about it. MyBookie will refund your wager. That is just the beginning, folks. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are also bringing back the double deposit bonus. When you're ready to get started, use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. Yes, promo code 1010XL to double your money. Maybe you want to get in on the action with Monday Night Football tonight. The Niners, a 4-point favorite over Gang Green. Those New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers return. Be sure to use promo code 1010XL. Get in on the action and bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Only with MyBookie.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Salvatore's famous pizza now in Jacksonville, Tapestry Park off Southside Boulevard. In honor of our favorite player, number 16, Salvatore's large pizza with lots of mozzarella and one topping, only $16. Coupon at salvatores.com. Dine in, pick up, and delivery. $16 for a large Salvatore's pizza with lots of mozzarella and one topping. Coupon at salvatores.com. Tax and delivery extra.
Helmets and heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Are you feeling the heat? It's time to cool things down with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Contact us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning to keep you cool and comfortable all year round.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Riddle Wellness. Many high school football games were canceled due to weather Friday night. Bishop Kenny and Decoy Creek still battled it out with Bishop Kenny winning 36-6, moving their winning streak to 3 to start the season. BK running back Caleb Madison scored on the opening drive, running one in from 65 yards. Bishop Kenny will go head-to-head with the Bulls this Friday at home at 7 o'clock. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp close out their series against Louisville with a 9-8 win yesterday afternoon. The Shrimp got the momentum back in the 5th when Hostler hit a 2-run triple, putting Jacksonville in the lead. The Shrimp stay on the road and travel to Charlotte, where they'll take on the Knights starting tomorrow at 6:35. The FSU Seminoles get back at it this week after being on a bye week last week, hoping to get back into the winning column. They'll host Memphis this Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's 81 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
I added this song, Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, on Friday, and I meant to tell RJ, let's play nothing but like just run through the wall type of music. Maybe it was our fault. Maybe it was my fault.
Yeah, we didn't do enough hype music.
For not doing enough hype music on Friday. But that's what the Jaguars needed in the fourth quarter, certainly the second half overall, yesterday as the Jags lost to the Dolphins. Let's get it to some college football talk. Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Big Chief Tire Monday.
It's funny that you picked this song. I'm going to tie.
Crazy Train?
Yeah. I'm going to tie our NFL discussion and our college discussion as we kick it off in the 1 o'clock hour together.
Some big news out of Florida?
No. Oh, well, we do have that. Oh, we're going to get to that, folks. We're going to hit
Napier is on the crazy train.
Yes. Billy Napier very much on the crazy train. We're going to hit a that for that. But as we begin our college football discussion on this fine Big Chief Tire Monday, Lauren, Crazy Train is not only the walkout song that the 2017-2018 New England Patriots notoriously had when they faced Doug Peterson's Eagles in the Super Bowl. It is also the long-standing walkout song for the Ithaca College Bombers. Please cue the world's smallest violin, RJ. Ithaca College had a 17-3 lead at halftime on Saturday at Butterfield Stadium against number 5 ranked Johns Hopkins. They lost the game. The University of Iowa also had a double-digit halftime lead against Iowa State in El Assico, the Cyhawk game on Saturday. They lost the game 20-19. The Jacksonville Jaguars had a 17-7 lead at halftime yesterday, and they lost 20-17. I'm just going to walk away and move to Mexico.
At least they didn't lose to Northern Illinois.
That is well said.
That is where I have a fun stat. Well, it's fun for anyone other than Notre Dame fans out there. But until Saturday, MAC teams were 0-51 all time against AP top 5 opponents. And then to your point, Notre Dame lost, ranked number 5 in the country, to Northern Illinois. Look, I think big picture, that's why we love college football so much. The NFL certainly has crazy upsets. We just talked about the Bengals losing to the Patriots. But week in and week out, college football delivers these types of games where you walk away and go, I never saw that coming. And certainly people who gamble on sports and college football specifically, those people really end up feeling down in the dumps because they put a bunch of money on something that they ended up losing. But Auburn losing to Cal is another one.
Yeah.
That I never saw that coming either. Not that Auburn is of the elite teams like an Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, those types of teams. But still, it was a wild weekend in college football.
Yeah, it was almost to this day. Tomorrow will be 2 years ago when Notre Dame was upset by Marshall, and it was the same exact feeling, and I felt it very early on. I mean, like 7 minutes into the game, I was like, this has Marshall vibes. And it was just immediately, nothing was clicking. Riley Leonard looked terrible. He was getting sacked every 2 seconds. The pressure in the middle was awful. The defense that looked phenomenal against Texas A&M had nothing other than Xavier Watts. And so it was just one of those things. I mean, I don't even think I was out of the first quarter when I'm like, they're losing this game. Like, it was just that vibe immediately, and it was the same exact feeling with Marshall. And this is why, going back to when I was making the comments before the season about Marcus Freeman and how he, I think, is on the hot seat, because this is what it's been since he's been there. Like, he'll have these big moments where you upset a team that no one thought you could beat, and then the next week you lose to a Marshall or in Northern Illinois. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. You can't quite figure it out because it is weird end game things sometimes, but it's also like you have a lot of talent on this roster. And I think some of it boils down to the quarterback. So it's like you went and you go get Sam Hartman and he ended up not being what you wanted. Riley Leonard so far does not look like what people were saying. Maybe there's some rust there. He didn't play, since the beginning of October of last year. And then now he's a couple games in, but it's so frustrating to watch. And that's what everyone kept texting me. They're like, how mad are you? I was like, I'm not even mad. I'm just annoyed because it's just one of those situations where you're like, it's expected at this point. And it's like, no wonder people always say they're overrated.
The good news for Notre Dame is that there are enough other teams that are messing around and almost finding out that I feel like the likes of Penn State messing around with Bowling Green, having being trailing 24-20 at halftime, just eking out a 34-27 win. Oregon needing a last-second field goal to beat Boise State. There's enough other teams that are considered playoff contenders that I feel like the horseshoe up their butt is going to fall out at some point, that Notre Dame still has a fighting chance. Because at the end of the day, Taylor,
K-State also barely beat Tulane.
Correct.
Another one.
No two ways of dicing it, Taylor. Notre Dame has the easiest path to the playoff if they can win out. We said that a week ago, and they went out and lost to the good old Huskies of the DeKalb Oasis.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with them, too, is they don't have that conference game to help them. So they have to, no question, have to win the rest of their games. And even then, honestly, I don't even know. I'm like, take them out of the top 25 and don't put them back because you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, I was surprised they were still ranked in the top 25. Speaking of the top 25, Northern Illinois ekes in.
That's probably why they are still
ranked. Were they at 25?
They were at 19.
Oh, okay, wow.
At 19 in Northern Illinois.
Well, maybe they'll surprise us and Northern Illinois will end up being really good, and then this won't hurt as much.
It's why you really need probably more like a full month of college football to evaluate your teams because, yes, it's such a roller coaster. There is no preseason in college football, which I'm a fan of. A couple other people or other teams that looked really good. Texas against Michigan. Michigan, we know, lost a lot of talent to the NFL. Texas did too, but Texas certainly returned Quinn Ewers. And my goodness, he right now and Carson Beck to me are like the top two quarterbacks in the country. And then speaking of quarterbacks, Kyle McCoy for Syracuse.
Yeah.
Leaves Ohio State, obviously. Everybody wanted him out. Goes to Syracuse.
But they're regretting that a little bit.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game against Georgia Tech, and Syracuse won.
That Arkansas-Oklahoma State game was wild. Were you guys watching it?
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
such a fun game. I was texting Matt Hayes the whole time, and I was like, this is kind of chaotic and crazy and messy, but it's so much fun.
No one wants to win.
Yeah.
Right. No one wants to win that game.
Yeah.
I think that
college kickers are a problem.
I think you could also make the argument that Taylon Green has kind of introduced himself, the quarterback for Arkansas, is like, you know what? Everyone wrote Sam Pittman off, said he's on the hot seat. He's still very much could be on the hot seat, but at the same time, he has a quarterback that fits the skill set of the offense that he and Bobby Petrino, that's still weird to say, are trying to run for the Razorbacks, and that's no knock on KJ Jefferson. Don't take that, UCF Knights, and use it as fuel, because I think KJ fits perfectly with what Gus Malzahn's trying to run down at the Big O. And so, look, I hope nothing but good things for both of those programs because they are led by individuals who I respect, both at the quarterback and the head coaching position. But it just definitely felt like this Arkansas team is not the Arkansas team with the dysfunction we saw a year ago, despite the most dysfunctional game of the weekend.
Yeah, when you were watching it, because obviously Ollie Gordon's the name that the running back you were expecting to come out of that, but Arkansas was running the heck out of that ball.
Which is what Sam has always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, look.
Being able to figure that out. I think 150 rushing yards from the one kid, I don't know.
They did, from Jaquindon. Yeah, they had 149 yards from Jaquindon. But you want to know what else they had? They had 49 yards total from Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State.
I know.
And that is where I look at Arkansas and I say, you know what? At the very least, if you can start seeing returns, and we can bring this to Florida, Lauren, although we'll probably save Billy Napier's announcement for our next segment because I'm sure we all have feelings about that. That will fill the course of an entire segment. However, I do think that if you want to talk about leashes on college football coaches and how long of a leash they have before they are fired, if you're Sam Pittman and you can say, hey, we held a guy who was almost a Heisman finalist and is a Heisman frontrunner not playing the quarterback position this year to 49 total yards. Yeah. That is a massive victory, especially when on the other side of the ball, your guy ran for $149 on that same team. That is considered a front runner in the Big 12 Conference.
Yeah, two other teams that had really good games, Tennessee against NC State. NC State, obviously more of a pretender than a contender, but Nico Iamaleava. I'm going to get it right.
I know. I've been trying.
Nico Iamaleava, freshman. He's so good. And then Clemson had a big comeback victory over App State. So Cade Klubnik, I feel like, and that offense scoring 66 points settles them down just a little bit.
South Carolina, too.
Yep, South Carolina bouncing back in a big way, baby. Mark Stoops, that's
Kentucky,
a lot of questions up there in Lexington. Also gives some kudos to the wave of Tulane for hanging around with K-State. Honestly, again, let's bring this full circle, Taylor. To my point earlier about Notre Dame, as disappointing as losing to Northern Illinois is, everything is still in front of you because you have the easiest schedule of the quote-unquote playoff contenders, so to speak. I don't know what the heck is going on in the Big 12. We mentioned Oklahoma State. K-State nearly loses to Tulane in New Orleans. And Utah now, Kyle Whittingham, the head coach of the Utes, of course, just met with reporters, won't comment on Cam Rising's injury status. So now we don't know if Cam Rising's going to be available, which, look.
For his 17th season.
For his 17th season. The graphic did flash on the screen, Lauren, of Cam Rising being in the same recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. I thought that was awesome. Look, they have Utah State this weekend. Maybe you say we can get by with little Zach Wilson. Yes, Zach Wilson's brother is the backup quarterback as a true freshman at Utah. Do you say you can get away with him against Utah State? I'm not so sure because he hasn't really looked all that good in spot action. But then you have to go to Stillwater the next week. But I also don't know how good Oklahoma State is. And so that is where Notre Dame's saving grace, the likes of a Penn State or even a Michigan, although I think they're kind of cooked at this point. But the hope is that if these other conferences are cannibalizing themselves, then that at least creates a pathway for some of these other teams that will pick up one or two questionable losses along the way.
It all depends on if you can win your conference championship, then early losses in the season don't matter as much. Now, for FSU losing 2 conference games early in the season, that certainly changes everything.
And then what Boston College did this last week and probably makes it look even worse, too.
Yeah, and then Boston College has Missouri this upcoming weekend, so that could be a bloodbath for the Eagles. All right, when we come back, we will get it to the news in Gainesville as far as the quarterback is concerned. Taylor has a tangent. We'll also let you hear from Foya Luakan. Busy show on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Mia here. Picture this. You know those little number counter things, the ones with the rolling numbers that just keep going up and up and up? That's what the selection is like at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Not 100, not 200, not even 3, 4, or 500. Over 600 vehicles in one location. Let's break it down. Over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 100 pickups, over 50 luxury vehicles. That, my friends, is over 600 cars on the lot at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18K. And if you're looking for buying confidence, check this out. At Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, you get 60 days to love it or exchange it. Need a little credit help? Arlington has your back with the Credit for Everyone program to help you get financed. Why Arlington? The better question is, why not? Don't wait. Shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey Googans, Dr. Chris Kopp, PT here with Premier Physical Therapy of Jacksonville. Is pain interfering with your life? Looking for a specialist for the rehab of your young athlete? Whether recovering from injury, surgery, or improving overall function, Premier PT Jax provides personalized treatment with compassionate care. My team of experts are ready to serve you at 3 locations, Ponte Vedra, San Pablo, and US 1 Phillips Highway. Visit PremierPTJax.com or call 904-996-6922. PremierPTJax.com, where your journey to wellness begins.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The seasons are shifting, but we're not done with the summer heat just yet. And you better believe your AC is still working hard. So do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services and stay stress-free with a seasonal tune-up. Don't wait until the wear and tear of the summer heat causes major issues. Book your tune-up with Fenwick's expert technicians to avoid those costly breakdowns. You can trust Fenwick to get your AC running again and get it done right the first time. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12. Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra. Maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
He'll help you find the fish.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
Captain Kevin and the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Yeah!
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at TrustlineMortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels.
Illuminated by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Are we going to hit a that for this, Lauren? Because I know it just boils your blood. And it happened like, what, an hour ago?
Yeah, Billy Napier met with media right when we were starting the show, so sure we can.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So Graham Mertz is in concussion protocol, has not fully cleared it, yet today Billy Napier said that he will be the starting quarterback. They will utilize DJ Lagway against Texas A&M. To me, this
is he trying to get fired?
To me, this says that Billy Napier doesn't understand the quarterback position. Yeah. And I understand that DJ Lagway looked great against Samford, and Samford was never going to win that football game. I understand that. But you can also watch the way that DJ Lagway operates the football game and understand that he's better. He has better talent than Graham Mertz does. And look, we've talked all summer. Graham Mertz is a great guy, and he's a guy that had he not been on Florida's team last year, Florida wouldn't have even won 5 games, right? Like, he was the reason they won some games. Great, accurate passer. But he doesn't have the pure talent that DJ Lagway does. You should start DJ Lagway against Texas A&M and roll with the punches.
Lauren, it's more than just not understanding the quarterback position. It's not understanding your job security situation right now, which is this kid is your last hope.
Well, and like part of me makes me wonder if he is doing that because he's like, well, I have Lagway in my back pocket. Like, let Mertz go out there. If Mertz is stinking it up and the Gators lose a couple more that they shouldn't, then he could be like, but I have DJ Lagway, hold on, let me throw him in, and then give some hope and save his job a little bit longer. And so I feel like maybe that's his, I don't know, maybe that's the only thing that all year though. And Lauren, you said it a lot this offseason about how you could see them using DJ Lagway anyways, like how you asked multiple times when we were talking to different Florida people of, do you think we could see a 2-quarterback type of situation every now and then? And most people are like, well, I don't know. It looks like maybe he wants to do something like that because, like I said, then he still has that chip of like, okay, well, I have DJ Lagway. I'm using him in bits. And then when I am really about to get fired, I'll pull him out and be like, hold on, I'm saved.
How many times have we seen a 2-quarterback system work
Yeah.
well? Not very often. It's happened before, and it's happened at Florida, but that's with Steve Spurrier, who's one of the elite play callers that college football has ever seen. DJ Lagway is a 5-star recruit for a reason. And Graham Mertz didn't last at Wisconsin. Let's just call it like we see it and go ahead and put the 5-star in, and you'll take your lumps, sure. But you'd rather, I think, see what the future of this team can be, whether you're going to be the head coach or not. Gator fans want to see the future of this team, and that is DJ Lagway. And look, Graham Mertz didn't have a great game last week either. That's the other thing. 2 weekends ago now. He didn't look great against Miami. It's not like we saw him get hurt after this stellar game. Then I'd understand, okay, well, now you have a real decision to make. DJ Lagway made throws that Graham Mertz dreams about making. And he also has more mobility, and he's a bigger guy, too. To me, this was a no-brainer. But Billy Napier is someone who seems to be very stubborn and stuck in his ways, and that is old school. And the old school ways of thinking says, my guy who's earned the starting quarterback position because he's now been here for 2 years and he worked hard all summer, he's going to be my starting quarterback.
I feel like you also don't want to take the chance of Lagway hitting the portal because people start being like, oh, this kid's pretty good, and he's not playing. And he's like, hey.
I'm sure people have already reached out to him saying,
he's getting text messages.
We'll give you more than Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah. I also got a kick out of Billy Napier after the game, trying to argue with reporters about how play calling doesn't matter. Speaking of stubborn nature, football coaches, I found that one hilarious. For me, it just comes down to not only the play on the field and saying DJ gives us the best chance to succeed. Now, I'm not suggesting that DJ Lagway is this crazy dual threat option akin to what Anthony Richardson was hyped and promised to be at Florida. What I am saying is that you lose your job by certainly Judge John Dub's losses, but you also lose your job when you lose the fan base and the apathy runs so thick that the university can no longer withstand the lack of involvement and interest in one of its biggest assets. And so
I think DJ Lagway is better as a passer than Anthony Richardson was.
He is better than Anthony Richardson was, no doubt about it. But and granted, it was against Samford, so again, limited sample size. But my thing is that it comes down to he's your last hope.
Yeah.
If he's good and he puts butts in the seats and gets people to buy things and apparel and this, that, and the other, that is where you keep your job. And again, let's go back to the argument we just made about Sam Pittman. Why is Sam Pittman making a case for, even if Arkansas, let's say they finish like 7-6, right? He won't be fired because he has a quarterback. He's got a defense that held the highest rated running back coming into this college football season in Ollie Gordon to 49 yards and is showing returns in the box score. If you can at least say, look, I understand we only won 5-6 games, I don't know, but look at what DJ Lagway could be.
Yeah.
That is not only a return on investment to keep your job with the powers that be, but it also creates some goodwill with the fan base too.
Look at the difference in the environment too, like the swamp week 1 to 2, just because of what Lagway brought to, like the energy he brought obviously to the game. And that is something that also Billy Napier should be looking at. Like, these are fans that you want to show that you can put a product on the field that is at least competitive. And so if someone like DJ Lagway is the answer, you would think he would want to skew that way. It's honestly, it's insane.
It doesn't surprise me knowing his philosophy and the way that he's always operated the program and how just really backwards. I feel like he's been about lots of different things. You should have hired an offensive coordinator because play calling absolutely matters, and you didn't do that. All right. That's enough Florida football for now.
Real quick, we have to have a little more pain. Although they didn't play a game this weekend, Florida State did somehow lose. They lost Javion Hill, their elite edge commit, a 5-star, number 1 defensive end in the nation. He is decommitting from Florida State as of last night.
Going to Texas.
That combined with Jalen Lucas, now out for the season. So, sorry, Knowles fans. You're not going to get out of this one scotch-free either.
But they are favored by a touchdown over Memphis, Mike Norvell's old
team.
The
line has shifted too, Lauren, from 5 to 7.
Let's take a time to take a Taylor. No. I can't talk today. It's time to get to a Taylor's tangent when we are right now. Let's go.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Got a few little statistical highlights from over the weekend in the NFL. I know we talked about some of the games that maybe were shocking or surprising or maybe not fun for some fan bases, but for the first time in 45 years, 3 teams trailed by at least 14 points and came back to win in week 1. Chicago down 17 points, Buffalo down 14 points, and Miami down 14 points. The 2024 season tied the 1960 and 1979 seasons for the most such comeback victories on kickoff weekend in NFL history. At least one team has overcome a deficit of 14 or more points in week 1. In 10 of the last 12 seasons with 2 games remaining. And now obviously this was last night. It must have been. So tonight's game, 9 games have been decided by 1 score or less, 8 points. And then 10 games were within 1 score, 8 points in the fourth quarter. 6 teams that missed the postseason in 2023 won in week 1: Chicago, Chargers, Minnesota, New England, New Orleans, and Seattle. And then so with the introduction, here's something we've been talking about a lot with the dynamic kickoff. And with the game tonight remaining in week 1, teams have registered an average of 26.9 yards per kick return. Only 3 weeks since 1970 have had a league-wide kickoff return of 27 or more yards. And so something that we kind of felt like from Thursday's game, we were like, okay, well, that wasn't exciting at all. Kind of shifted this weekend. We saw a lot more returns and deeper returns than we had in the first, probably Thursday and Friday game, honestly. But that, by the way, we didn't even talk about the field on Friday. That was terrible and embarrassing for the NFL to let them play on that.
And now Jordan Love with an injury.
Yeah, if I was a Packers fan, I would be furious. And technically the field wasn't his injury, but the whole game, they're all sliding all over the place, and it was messy. So Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen totaled 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, with a 137.7 rating in the Bills' 34-28 victory over Arizona in week 1. Allen has 4 career games with at least 2 touchdown passes and 2 rushing touchdowns, tied with Pro Football Hall of Famer Steve Young for the most such games in NFL history. He has 10 career games with at least 2 rushing touchdowns, joining Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton as the only quarterbacks all time with at least 10 such career games. He also has 20 career games with at least 2 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown, joining Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers, entering the Monday night game as the only players all time with at least 20 such career games. So it kind of looks like what was shaky in the beginning with Buffalo, a conversation we've had that I don't think Buffalo's going anywhere. Josh Allen's the guy. He's going to be able to figure out what he needs to do. And we talked a lot this offseason of what they're going to do without Stephon Diggs. Well, it seems like they figured it out, at least in the second half. Final one, Miami wide receiver Tyreek Hill recorded 7 receptions for 130 yards, including a career-long 80-yard touchdown reception. In the win in the 2017 victory over Jacksonville, Hill has 12 career touchdowns of at least 75 yards, tied with Pro Football Hall of Famer Bobby Mitchell for the 3rd most touchdowns of 75 or more yards in NFL history. Only Pro Football Hall of Famers Devin Hester and Ollie Matson have more than that. He has 22 career games with at least 125 receiving yards and a touchdown reception. So Tyreek Hill is one of those guys. We've talked about it a ton. You're not going to stop Tyreek. You just got to try to eliminate it as much as possible. Looked like they had it under control in the first half. Unfortunately, some big plays at 75-yarder or 80-something yarder hurt him at the end. But yeah, he's just one of those guys. It's Tyreek Hill. You're not going to stop Tyreek.
No, and the Jaguars, to your point a lot earlier, Taylor, Jalen Waddle had a great game.
Yeah.
Devon Achane also had a great game. So, yeah, they limited Mostert, but just across the board, the Dolphins were able to find guys that they always rely on. And the Jaguars, on the flip side, the guys that they normally rely on weren't able to step up.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, though, as I've kind of seen various PFF, SB Nation, all the, data heads that be on the internet breaking this game down, one of the common themes I've seen is, well, Mike McDaniel in short yardage remains too cute, and the play calling remains too cute. And that is much akin to what is going on here in Jacksonville, despite not falling from that Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan tree. And so that is where I look at everyone saying the Miami Dolphins are this high-powered offense and what they can do. And they still have shortcomings when it comes to short yardage, red zone,
Mm-hmm.
Tua Tagovailoa at times making, rash or wrong decisions. And so I'm not trying to give you excuses for why things will get better in Jacksonville, but I am pointing out that it is equally as rough in other NFL markets right now as it is in Jacksonville, even after a win, too.
Yeah. I'm not sure any quarterback had like a phenomenal game from start to finish. A lot of the games this weekend, all the rookie quarterbacks struggled. All of them had like passer ratings under like 50. And
Dak probably had the best.
Dak had probably the best game, and even that, I think he only had like 160 yards or something, right? Like passing. I don't even think it was anything crazy. He just didn't make any mistakes.
He had 179 yards. Good call, Taylor.
And so it wasn't like he played some insane game.
And they only ran for 102 rushing yards.
I know, it was weird. The score is crazy to see that when you would think that he would have had like 300 passing yards in that game. But then even Josh Allen, it took until the third quarter for him to start showing up. So even when you go across the league, this is week 1. It takes teams some time to start meshing especially when you have a lot of new pieces. And we talked about it a lot with Brian Thomas, BTJ, with Gabe Davis, with a new center. There's going to be a little bit of some growing pains as we start going. So I think if I was focusing on any positive, it's the fact that nobody's offense looked like they were just completely lights out from start to finish.
Actually, you know who I think statistically had the best weekend?
Derek Carr?
He for sure. And Baker Mayfield.
Baker, yeah.
And Sam Darnold, too.
Yeah, Sam.
So it's always a surprise. All right, we've got lunch for 2 right now, right, Taylor?
We do. Lunch on the ladies. Lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 2.
All right, we've got 1 segment to go. We will let you hear Foye Aluakan in the post-game locker room with Mia. Yesterday, you are listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM on a Big Chief Tire Monday.
Helmets and Heels. This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
Mia here, and when I was buying a new construction home last summer, there was no question. Dream Finders Homes was the builder for me. A big reason why? Their unbeatable interest rates. Right now, you can take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. Find your dream home, take advantage of unbeatable rates, and move in today. I'll say it again because it's basically unheard of up and down the eastern seaboard. 2.99% year one rate. Dream Finders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
We're back. Mia here, and winning season is back. Football is back, and MyBookie is here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions, like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. That's just the beginning, folks. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus. When you're ready to get started, just use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Not to mention, loyalty pays off with MyBookie Plus. The more you play, the more you win. Climb through tiers of loyalty rewards programs to unlock even more epic promotions. Only with MyBookie.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots and the first treatment now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Are you tired of living with constant pain from torn ligaments or nagging tendinitis and bothersome joint pain?
Say goodbye to endless medications and invasive surgeries. Go BioTarget Regenerative Treatment is available only at injury care centers. Their innovative approach helps you recover faster and get back to doing what you love without drugs or surgery. Don't just treat the symptoms, target the root cause with BioTarget. Visit GoBioTarget.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Most goals have a clear course, like planning a trip. But when it comes to losing 40 or 50 pounds, that's a different story. Except with Awaken 180, a clear course to fast, proven weight loss with free support for life. It's awaken180weightloss.com.
Start your week by talking teal with Tony. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Hall of Fame Quality Roofing Solutions on 1010XL.
This is Walker Little of your Jacksonville Jaguars for Kingfish Pest Control. I've been a Kingfish customer for a while now and can confirm that their service is incredible. Not only do they protect my family from pests, Kingfish's office staff is the friendliest around. They even email me a photo of the tech before arriving at my home. Kingfish Pest Control is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Be sure to enter their Swat That Kick sweepstakes for free pest control for 3 years. Go to kingfishpest.com and tell them Walker Little sent you.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Don't bring those old, beat-up cornhole boards to the party again. Mystic Cornhole can upgrade your tailgate experience with a customized set of professional quality boards built in Jacks. Visit their Instagram page or mysticcornholecompany.com.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Miami Dolphins offense averaged nearly 30 points per game in 2023. The new Jaguars defense under Ryan Nielsen held Miami to 20 points on Sunday. It was not enough to win the game, but Jaguars rookie defensive back Jarian Jones came away impressed by the defense.
I think we have a hell of a defense. I just want to put that out there, and I think Coach Nielsen is a hell of a DC. But I think, we just got to come to work. I think some things just didn't flow our way, this game. It is what it is, man. We just got to continue to get better.
Jaguars rookie defensive back Jarian Jones in the postgame with 1010XL. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Truly cooling down. I know tempers are high, emotions are high. You want the Jaguars to feel your wrath and your fury, and I think they do because they're disappointed in themselves. And I posted the clip, and the full interview, of course, is available on the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel with Travis Etienne. He took ownership for that fumble, and he stressed that it hurts. And they're more upset in that locker room today than they were after any loss last year, or I guess even the year prior, so 2022, because they know what it feels like to not only be in the postseason, but to miss the postseason and that sour taste that it leaves in your mouth. And so I know that those are cliches you don't want to hear, but I will evoke Aaron Rodgers. I won't if they're 0-2 next week, but I will after 0-1 against a team that is going to be a top 5 offense one way or another. And is not a half bad defense either. Relax. It's okay.
I'm going to say another positive, but this positive also may concern people in the same sentence. So I just saw a chart Daniel Griffiths posted, and he had the average receiving separation for the Jags receivers. The league average is 2.96. Parker Washington, 4.97 yards of separation. Gabe Davis, 4.07 yards of separation. Brian Thomas Jr., 3.35 yards of separation. Christian Kirk, 3.55 yards of separation. And Evan Ingram, 2.37. So all of them well over, other than Evan Ingram, league average separation. So in the positive light, these guys are getting separation, and this is what you wanted. But that also make people be a little critical of Trevor. Okay, if these guys had this much separation, why was there so many issues late? Maybe because they didn't throw, they ran 8 times. But I think out of that, you take the positives, because it's something we talked about a lot, even in the preseason, when we're like, okay, we need to see these guys getting these separations. You got receivers who that's what they do. So it is good to see that kind of what you signed up for with Gabe Davis, with Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington. Really fun to watch that they're creating that, and I think it's only going to get better and help them more.
Yeah, the Jaguars have good weapons. They just don't have weapons as good as the Dolphins. Can you imagine Trevor Lawrence with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane in the backfield? And again, that's no knock on the weapons that the Jaguars have now. But those guys are some of the elite in the NFL. And the positive is the Jaguars defense held them to 20 points total, 17 until that final field goal, the walk-off field goal for Jason Sanders. But on the other side of the ball, the offense that in the first half was able to move the ball efficiently completely fell apart after Etienne's fumble in the second half. You cannot have a good team win a close game the way that they did. And so right now the Jaguars, I can't say that they're a good team in the NFL because they let that game slip through their hands. All right, one guy that certainly was, as always, a leading tackler for the Jaguars, and Foye Oluokun, you caught up with him in the locker room yesterday, Mia?
Yes, our thanks to Foye for sticking around a little bit later. Here is my one-on-one with him after the Jaguars lost down in Miami.
Let's just start big picture. Takeaways you can take from this game on the positive side of things for the defense.
We need a couple more takeaways. I think that's kind of what we're missing this today. We put ourselves in good positions. Take the ball away, I think we see a different outcome this game. Good physicality, good communication. We got to execute all the way through the game.
The second half, was there something they did differently or just a matter of execution down the stretch?
Execution.
Trayvon Walker, 2 sacks today. What sort of message does that send of what he can do this year?
Yeah, we all got confidence in Trayvon. We've had confidence in Trayvon since he got here. Him coming to the league, he's a grown dude. He just playing with more confidence and everything he's learned over his first 2 years. It's year 3, so we should expecting big jumps out of these guys.
For the first game with Ryan, for you guys to, as you noted, for the most part, it looked pretty seamless out there. What does that say about where this defense can still go?
It's all about, with him, details in our alignment, assignment, and execution. I feel, some drives out there we didn't execute right, but, he's going to get us right on that. But that's really the name of the game. We're going to talk about winning the pre-snap on those drives, having an attack mentality all the way through the game. We let up some of them drives, so he's going to hammer us on that.
Is that something that you as a leader have already kind of taken initiative and said that you feel like you guys let things up?
Yeah, you feel it as you're marching down sometimes. Some of them drives, I feel like we gave them maybe a false start here or a blown little communication here and there. Being able to be physical all the way through the down, but it starts, how we're aligned and adjusting.
Last one from me. As a leader in this locker room, as a captain, post-game emotions after this loss comparatively to losses last year? Same, different? How would you describe it?
Me personally, I don't like losing no matter how it looks. You can take a lot of positives out of this, but at the end of the day, we did lose, so it's a lot to get better at. Just keep our same energy. Let's maintain energy all the way through the game, but let's get better as the year goes on. It is week 1, but, games where we feel like we have them in our hands, we can't let them go. So long season, but every game is a sprint, so let's win the next one.
I think that the first point that Foye made is also very critical and one we really haven't talked about yet, which is the turnover margin. And while, yes, there was one significant turnover, and while it felt like the Jaguars defense played well and well enough to win all day, not having a turnover truly does change the complexity of a game. And I know the stats out there somewhere where the Jags are X and X. I forget exactly what it is.
Trevor Lawrence is 1-19.
There it is.
The defense doesn't create a takeaway.
Yeah. Throw that out there into the universe. It's just the reality of it. And I don't think it's a knock on Trevor. I think you could go up and down the list of quarterbacks in the National Football League and you would find similar stats.
Yeah, you always when you talk about keys to the game, no matter what team you're talking about, most times that turnover battle is what you say. It's just part of the game. If you turn the ball over, if you turn the ball over more than the other team, most times you don't win. And that's just part of it, because it especially in moments like that, when it's those ones that hurt the most, when it is the red zone and you're about to score and things flip that way. And it's really unfortunate for ETN, but I also think it's something that they'll learn from quickly. That won't happen again. You're not going to see ETN have anything close to that happen again, because he also is that type of player that he's learned from the beginning. Okay, if I mess up or something's not working, he's been able to flip it very quick. And we talked about the fumbles in his his second season, and those got fixed quick. So moments like that, it's unfortunate. It happens in football. That's NFL. It's week to week. That's why these guys you kind of focus when you talk to teams a lot. They're not like, okay, we want to go to the Super Bowl. They're like, let's take it game by game, because things like this happen. Some of the best teams you see have the same situations go on when it comes to big turnovers and crucial moments. And when you do that, unfortunately, it's hard to win the game.
Another guy who looked really good, Cartavius Bigsby.
Oh, Tank. Oh, yeah. You want to give Tank his love.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love Tank. I'm not saying he's better than ETN, but he definitely looks like obviously he's a different running back than ETN, but he looks like a guy who is completely different than last year, night and day.
Yeah.
Those issues are behind him. The confidence that he has, I know you caught up with him in the training camp sessions, Mia. He looks like he's going to be he's going to create that 1-2 punch with ETN. ETN is going to catch balls out of the backfield, and Bigsby will be able to run between the tackles.
And guess what? It's going to keep ETN fresh. So we're not sitting here week 13 and Travis has a rib injury, but it's like, oh,
you have to run him.
We got to keep running him out there 30 times a game because we don't know what else we're going to do. So yes, to your point, Lauren, and I think you actually led the show with it, the idea of a year ago, even coming into this training camp, so many questions surrounding that 2023 rookie class. And I'm not saying they've all been answered, but to see what Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, the combination can be, and quite honestly, I'm not, again, I've said it on the program and people get upset, but I've heard it around the league, so I don't feel bad in saying it. Travis Etienne is probably, in terms of a natural athletic playmaker, the best the Jacksonville Jaguars have on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reason, why Cam Wolf of the NFL Network said to us on Friday, and he verified for me yesterday, that is who the Dolphins are most concerned about.
I do think BTJ can usurp that.
Yes.
I think he could be the most explosive, best football player on this roster.
Correct. But I also believe that in terms of pure running back ability, Tank Bigsby is the best running back on the Jaguars roster, and that's okay. Those two things can coexist, and you don't have to get upset about it.
I don't know if he's the best.
I think he is.
Right now, I think he is. I think by the end of the season, Bigsby could end up having more yards than ETN.
Well, I'm saying in terms of being a running back. So you're agreeing with me, is what you're saying.
I thought you were saying ETN is 100% better than Bigsby.
No, I said he's the best natural playmaker. Tank Bigsby is the better running back. And those two things can coexist.
Okay, then yes, I'm
that
agreeing
upsets people.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that because they have this idea that Tank
has
a scarlet letter and you shouldn't put him on a football field. Well, you were begging for him on the football field yesterday in that second half, and I could not believe with my own two eyes how many of you came out of the woodwork on Twitter and Facebook yesterday begging for Tank Bigsby to be given the ball because literally as recently as 3 days ago, he was damaged goods.
Yeah, I think narrative reversed course yesterday.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I had multiple texts from people being like, did Tank slim down? Does he look different than he did last year? And I was like, we kind of talked about that all season, not saying he got skinny, but he did feel like he had a little bit different of a look. He looks quicker. He looks like he's finding lanes, but at the same time, he can still roll over people. And that's like the running back that you want.
Well, he falls forward too.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I'm not knocking Travis Etienne. I'm just saying it's two different skill sets. And again, if you are talking pure running back, and what is needed for an offensive line to have success, for an offense to have success, that is the guy that checks the box.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, again, Travis Etienne isn't a good player. And
by the way, you have both of them. That's good.
That's a good thing. And look, and also please stop adding Travis Etienne. Like, look, you aren't in the playoffs without him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're not in the position to make the playoffs a year ago without him. And as we said, you can't run him into the ground because you did that last year, and that's why he was banged up come December, because you need him.
Doug Peterson is meeting with the media now, so we'll certainly keep you updated as far as injuries go. And I saw on the Brown side of things, tight end David Njoku suffered a high ankle sprain, so we'll see how long he's out. I would expect at least according to Ian Rappaport, around 4 to 6 weeks. Let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
Joe, it all fell apart after Etienne's
El
fumble.
Succo.
And it wasn't pretty
No,
at
it
all.
wasn't. No, look, momentum is such a strange thing. It is real. It does exist. And that 14-point swing is about as bad as it can get and as best example as you could possibly have. You're close, you're there, you're in, you're taking a 3-score lead, you're dominating this ball game on the road, and then it goes Cheetah's way, 80 yards. His longest catch that he's ever had in the NFL.
Yeah, he's got that ability to toe tap the sideline better than a lot of people.
It's
I
crazy
know
to watch,
he did it in the
honestly.
first half and he was called out, but usually he's able to stay in, which is exciting to see if you're a Dolphins fan, certainly not around here. When Etienne fumbled, and then, of course, like you said, Hill caught that pass, did you think, this game is going to go the Dolphins' way?
Well, I wouldn't say that. No.
Okay.
I felt like there were obviously the third down call and Parker Washington recovering his own fumble. I mean, things really were going bad. The fact that Parker was able to recover the fumble and then they had to make that decision. They had a timeout, had all the time to think about it, and then still called that play on that 4th down from that yard line was ridiculous. You had the lead. And you panicked and felt like you needed to do something at that moment to steal back some of that momentum, and it was just a dismal decision.
I was yelling when the delay of game happened on the punt. That's when I felt like everything just really was going to shambles. All right, what's coming up?
Well, we'll definitely cover all that. Look, we got probably the next 2 hours, as much of it as we can on the Jaguars and the Dolphins. 0-1, so much worse than 1-0. We're going to get our counselor in to talk a little bit about what Tyreek Hill went through before the game itself, which was crazy and obviously led a lot of NFL storylines. And then we'll go back to Saturday and recount some of the big games from Saturday.
We talk some Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway.
Yeah, I think that was a bad opponent that they faced. Those were junk stats in a lot of ways, but I've maintained between Matt, Leon, and I arguing about it is the only way Billy Napier is going to keep his job is to prove that guy is the future, that guy can attract other recruits to come to Gainesville because they're the ones that want to play with him. You need to showcase him as much as you possibly can.
But he's not going to get the start on Saturday. Thanks, Joe. We appreciate
split
it.
time. All right,
exactly. All right, XL Primetime is coming up next. Great job today, RJ Saunders. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ, I'm Lauren Brooks. Don't go anywhere. XL Primetime is next. These heels are made for talking, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
One of these days, these boots